Monday, August 30th, 2021, 6:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was going to be doing a Two Dudes and Some Bullshit tonight with my man, Tony Michael, and of course, one of our It's Me Billy supporters, donors, Patrick Anderson. Shout out to Patrick Anderson. But Tony was having some internet trouble tonight, so we have to reschedule the show tonight. No worries. It happens, of course. Thanks to everybody's understanding and patience out there. We're sort of out of our hands. We're going to try and schedule it. Probably not next week because it's Labor Day weekend, but probably the week after. Maybe Monday, September 13th is when we'll try and knock that one out. Patrick Anderson, Tony Michael, and I will be watching Big Trouble in Little China. I was looking forward to it, but these things happen, folks. These things happen. So anyway, I thought I would jump on and just talk to you guys for a little bit. Not going to spend a lot of time, but I wanted to kind of, deliver a little something for you tonight because I know that, things are, we couldn't deliver on what we wanted to do tonight. So I thought I would jump on, do a little Q&A. I'm not prepared at all. I have no idea. I wasn't planning on going solo tonight so now, of course, I can't go solo on the Two Dudes show. It's because it's Two Dudes. But I can jump on here on my channel and just kind of see what you guys are doing. I bought a new phone today. I picked up the Galaxy S21 Ultra. I am upgrading from the S9 Plus. I usually upgrade every 3 years. Usually every 3 years, which works out to about every 3 phones. Phones are like cars now where you can update literally every year if you wanted to. I think actually I don't know what it's like in the States or anywhere else in the world, but I think you're supposed to hang on to your phone for at least 2 years and then you can upgrade or whatever. I mean, you can certainly get out of it, but you'd have to pay off your phone before you could upgrade or whatever. Anyway. So, I can remember every single phone I've ever had. I still have every single phone I've ever had. And every time I upgrade to a new phone, which is, like I said, once every 3 years or so, I line up all my phones and I take a photo of them. And there's a moment in like the early 2000s, my first cell phone was 2001. And there was a moment for about in the 2000s there where the phones were getting smaller. And then, when the smartphones came in, the smartphones seemed to be getting bigger. So it's weird. This is a brick. I mean, this is huge. I mean, look at the size of that. That's huge. It's a great phone. I do notice a difference. Like I said, that's why I wait once every 3 years. I could have upgraded last year, but I was like, why would I? I don't need to. So I waited an extra year and I just got it today. And it's a very nice phone, a very expensive phone. My bill certainly went up. But it's worth it, because it's fun to have. And it's just, but you know what really pisses me off? I know. First world problems, right? This really pisses me off. So now maybe you're used to this because maybe you've upgraded the last couple years. I don't know. I don't know if Apple does this. I have no idea. So I'm used to when you buy a new phone, you also get everything with it, right? The charging port, the charging cable. This is my first phone that doesn't have a headphone jack. I never really used it anyway, but I noticed that this is my first phone that I never had a headphone jack. Look at this. It's got like 3, I don't know if you can see it. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras. 6 actually if you include the front. What the fuck do we need this for? Do you know what my phone didn't come with? I get all the way home. I bought it at Best Buy, right? Because they can hook you up through your wireless provider there. I get all the way home and I open it up and I'm about to transfer all my files from my old phone onto my new phone wirelessly, because you can do that, right? And I noticed that I'm at like 30% on my new phone because it's a new phone. I get it. And I'm looking for the charging thing. I have the charging cable, but there's no charging port. And I'm like, what? Well, that's got to be a mistake. Like that has to be a mistake. It just wasn't in there. So luckily, Best Buy is not too far from me, but I was a little pissed off. So I went all the way back to the store and the lady there's like, yeah, no, I don't know how long this has been happening. I don't know if this is the first time, but she's like, yeah, the charging ports don't come with the phones now. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I have to spend an extra $35 on a fucking charging point. Charging port. Samsung, I love you. Okay. I've always had your phones, but there's a lot of things I could say that are not politically correct. That's fucking stupid. Okay. I'm going to spend over $2,000 over the next 2 years paying off this phone, and you can't throw in a goddamn charging port. And of course, the excuse is like, well, there's some sort of environmental thing. Oh, fuck off. No, it's not. You want an extra, it's just a great way to get extra money. But I'm like, are you kidding me? My bill goes up by $30 a month. Okay. The phone is worth like $2,500. And you can't throw in a charging port? Are you kidding me? Like at the very least, I would think at the very least, we would expect to get a charging port. Why is the cable in there if the ports, I don't get it. When I say the charging port, I mean, little thing, that you plug into the wall, right? I know what you're thinking. Well, Dave, you can go wireless charging. Yes, I know I could, but it's the principle of it. Are you kidding me? I have never bought a phone in my life, a smartphone in my life that didn't come with a little fucking thing you plug into the wall. And they didn't tell me that. She's like, yeah, I forgot to tell. I should have said, and I didn't. And she was a very nice girl, very nice. But I should have said, well, you didn't tell me that, and I had to go home and come back, so you need to give me that for free. I should have said that. I was going to, and then I didn't. Unreal. I'm like, now, again, I don't know if I would imagine this isn't a Canada thing or a Best Buy thing. I would imagine that this is a Samsung thing. So beware if you're looking to purchase the new Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. I don't know how long Samsung's been doing this, but 3 years ago, I bought the latest phone, which was the S9 Plus, and it came with a charging port. Nope. $30. I'm like, what? Now, luckily, I got a Best Buy gift card with this promotion that was on while I was buying this phone, and I just used my gift card towards it. But still, you know what I mean? It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I'm buying one of the top of the line phones in the world right now, and you can't throw in a fucking charging port. I have to buy it extra. That's like buying a car with 3 wheels. That doesn't make any sense. It should be part of the package. It's part of buying a phone. Part of buying a phone is that everything you need to operate the phone comes with the fucking phone. That's the idea. You don't go and buy a car and you go to get in it, and then you realize, oh shit, I got 3 wheels, and you go back into the dealership, and they're like, oh yeah. Oh, you want 3? That's part of buying a car. I mean, this is ridiculous. Samsung, come on, man. Like, really? Anyway. Darren Sand says, your old charging brick is compatible. Actually, it's not. It's not, because my charging thing, the old charging thing, when I put it into the, it doesn't have there's a different thing that it goes in. I tried that because I thought, oh, maybe I don't have to buy another one. I just use the one that I have, right? No. The one that I had didn't have, because it's a new type of connection, and the one that I have didn't actually come with the thing, at least the one that I had. Because I looked and I was like, no, I actually can't plug this in. Ticked me off. Anyway, that's my rant. So, yeah, there you have it. Yeah, everybody's like USB-C. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's compatible, Dave. Just buy a new cable, then the brick. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. I see what you're saying. Yes, that's true. I could have bought another cable. That's true. That's fair enough. Darren is right. Fair enough. I could have done that. That is true. I could have done that. Yes. In that sense, the cable would or the brick would work. That's right. That is true. But it's just the principle of it. It's just kind of like really, Anyway. That's my rant. So what are you guys saying? A couple of super chats came in here. What do we have? Sean Sheridan says, thoughts on Candyman 21. Haven't seen it. And expectations for kills. My expectations for kills are the same as they've always been, which is that I believe that it will be that I think a lot of people are going to love it. It's going to be a lot of blood, guts, and gore, and I think people are just going to go crazy for it. The Dark Knight sends in $5 and says, you see the new Candyman? I have not. It has the similarities of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Insidious, and Sinister. That's quite the combination. It was spooky. Any wokeness or message didn't overpower the terror. Yeah, I heard, again, I haven't seen the new Candyman, but I have heard that, there are some people that are a little kind of upset, I guess, of some sort of, I think the thing that I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. I've read the reviews and I've heard people talk about it, but I can't judge it because I really don't know. I don't know if I would think it was too woke, quote unquote, or not, because I haven't seen the movie. But those that do, those people that have seen it and that are, that make a valid point about, like, the thing is, here's the thing, okay? I think I mentioned this before on this channel. And again, I don't mean to be political, but it's in relation to what we're talking about in terms of movies. I'm very much I don't know what I would be, but I'm very much sort of a centrist, I guess. Just in life, I think balance is the best approach. I'm not team red or blue. I'm not team right or left. I'm just sort of, whatever makes sense to me. And I sincerely mean that. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have my own biases like we all do, for sure. But I always try to kind of be balance and, whatever makes sense. Right. But both sides are just terrible now, and it's not that wokeness doesn't exist. It does. It certainly does. And there are certain things in life that are preachy and condescending and pretentious and, have a narrative to it, for sure. Absolutely. Whether that's a television show, a movie, a political drama, whatever the case is, right? We know that exists. The problem I find, and I don't know if you notice this, maybe you have to kind of be in the middle to kind of see this because you can see the shit on both sides. It's the second there is like a gay couple in a movie, or the second that, the second that there's even an inkling of something you have a certain section of the population that gets their knickers in a twist, as the British would say. I believe that's a British saying, right, Darren? Darren can correct me if I'm wrong. And it's like, do you remember that I think I said this before. Do you remember that meme that was going around after Donald Trump was elected president? And it was of that girl who was at his inauguration, and she's going like, no, she's got, glasses on. And the right would use that a lot to make fun of the left. well, I hate to say it, but that meme can be used for both sides now. Like the right and the complaining and it's just dog shit. Like you're both fucking idiots as far as I'm concerned. Like, I mean, it's just like, it's so like both of you just shut up. You know what I mean? Like you can go too far with many things, you know, and it's not that certain points aren't made, but you know, there's certain like, you know, not every movie, the second something comes up, just because there happens to be a subtext of something or whatever, doesn't mean that, oh, it's all woke and it's like, shut up. Like usually you can pick out those things. Usually they're very clear. Usually they're not debatable. Do you know what I mean? Like most people, and it doesn't mean that there aren't people that don't like the movie, but most people, we all can usually agree that Black Christmas 2019 was a little on the nose. Okay. And I say that with a grain of salt, right? You know what I mean? That had a definite narrative to it. That doesn't mean that they're not allowed to do it. They should be allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do, right? But certainly that wasn't subtext. I mean, there was a conscious, creative drive to tell this kind of thing, right? Usually you can tell, you know, and usually it's not debatable. From everything I've heard about Candyman and the subtext that's in the film, and when you watch the original Candyman too, I mean, I haven't seen it in years, but from what I remember, it's not like that movie was void of any sort of racial, political subtext. I mean, that was kind of part of the narrative. I mean, maybe because of the world we live in today, it's a little more obvious maybe, or overt, or just kind of there, you know. But if you're looking for it, if you're going into any movie that has a black cast or and you're looking for, you will find it. You will find something to complain about. Now, again, I haven't seen it, so I could watch the movie and be like, yeah, I totally agree. But from everything that I'm reading and everything that I'm hearing from people that I trust, the chances are I'm going to watch it and feel the exact same way as them. That it was a pretty good movie, and it played into sort of the Candyman lore and mythology, and maybe it was a little, maybe not quite as subtexty as maybe in the past because of, you know, the message but it wasn't woke. Do you know what I mean? I think there are a lot of people that just like to glom onto buzzwords. They don't know their asses from their elbows when you, like, really at the end of the day with the real issues. They just glom onto buzzwords. They know how they emotionally feel. They know they don't like this, but they like that. And anything that's sort of like, you know, two gay people in a movie, it's like, oh my God, it's woke. And it's like, no, it doesn't mean that. Okay. It doesn't mean that. You know what I mean? And you can take that meme and apply it to all of you. All of you that are all over the place, because you're both terrible now, you know? And again, there's extremes, right? I'm talking about the extremes. I'm not saying that if you happen to be right or if you happen to be left, you're, you know, one of those people. I'm talking about the polarizing extremes, right? And it makes its way into the entertainment industry, and you see it, you know? And I remember when, now, I haven't seen it, but I believe Cody Leach saw the new Wrong Turn movie, and it has a gay couple in it. And apparently they held hands for a moment or something. And everybody was, not everybody, but there was certain people that were yelling that it was woke and it was this. And Cody Leach, I mean, listen, Cody'd be the first person to say something was woke, right? I mean, let's be honest here, right? And he was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You know, he's like, no, it doesn't mean that at all. Like, I don't know what, you know, anyway. So, but I am aware that's a complaint from people. But from everything I'm reading, I think it's just people that are looking for things like that. They're angry. We live in a very angry world right now. We live in a very polarizing world. People are angry. In my lifetime, I'm only 42 years old, of course, but in my lifetime, I've never seen the world so polarized and so hateful and so much toxicity in the world. I mean, everything from entertainment to politics to, I mean, you name it. I've never seen so much hatred. Now, that's relative, right? You go back to, you know, World War II and the Nazis and whatever, and that's pretty fucking bad. You know what I'm saying? It's relative. But in my lifetime, I haven't seen it. This is crazy. It's crazy what's going on right now. And the vitriol and the, you know what I mean? It's like, holy shit. It's crazy, man. But yeah, no, I don't, I haven't seen it, but I hear it's pretty good. So I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Nathan Oswald sends in $10. Thank you, Nathan. Says, tinfoil hat theory. Okay. In Halloween 4, when Rachel's dad's tie falls into the coffee and he asks for another one, he says he has a 10:30 with Chuck. What if he was referring to Charlie Bowles? Ooh. Well, Halloween 4 is 1988. When we first are introduced to Charlie Bowles in 1978, the graveyard keeper was talking about him 15 years earlier in 1963. And I've always said that the graveyard keeper refers to him as old Charlie Bowles. Now, that could just be an endearing statement, right? Like, you know, was he old? Well, if he came back into the kitchen, I can't believe I'm talking about this. If he came back into the kitchen and kissed his wife and his 2 children goodbye, like when the graveyard keeper tells that story, I always imagined a guy coming in, kissing his 30-something wife and his like 10 and 8-year-old kids goodbye. Do you know what I mean? Like he doesn't, even though he's referred to as old Charlie Bowles, when he actually tells the story, it sounds like he's talking about somebody who's maybe even a bit younger than me. So maybe old Charlie Bowles is like, that old Charlie Bowles. Maybe it's just kind of an endearing thing. I don't know. It depends how old he is. But if he really is old Charlie Bowles in 1963, like he's in his 60s, fuck, he could be in his 80s in Halloween 4. He might be dead. I don't know. That's funny though. Or maybe it's Chucky. Maybe it's Chucky. Darren says, great British saying, Dave. That's right. Knickers in a twist. My mother used to say that. She was British, so there you go. Or English, I guess. Well, yeah, I guess she's from Britain. So, let's see. Movie Chat and More sends in £2. Thank you, buddy. Says, hey, Dave, Platoon or Wall Street? Better movie. Ooh, I haven't seen either in years, so I don't know. Very different, though, Richard. I mean, very, very different, right? Wall Street is all about money and power. Platoon is more of a war film. Great performances from both. I don't know. That's like comparing apples and oranges. I think you need to you need to say like Platoon or Thin Red Line or Platoon or Saving Private Ryan or, Wall Street or Wall Street 2, Money Never Sleeps, is it called, or whatever it is, or like, you know what I mean? Platoon and Wall Street. I mean, they're both Oliver Stone movies, I think, right? I know Oliver Stone did Platoon. Did he do Wall Street? I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. Jonathan Ball says, 2 conflicting ideologies and our common culture glue is being erased. It leads to severe hatred. Yeah, there's a lot of hatred out there. There's definitely a lot of hatred out there. Neil Tambo. Dave, what are your thoughts on the Hatchet series? I haven't seen any of them. I know what they are. Obviously, I know Victor Crowley, and I remember when the first trailer for the first movie came out in 2006, I believe it was. I remember watching it on this really new platform, this really new thing called YouTube, and it was cool. It was cool. It was cool. Morbid Matsky says, you're 42? I am. For your big Halloween Kills chat you did with the guys, I asked how old you were when you first saw Halloween 1978 and never got your answer. I'm 45 myself. I would say, how old was I when I first saw? I don't know. I mean, I don't know the exact age. I probably would have been like 5 or 6. So, 1984, 85, maybe somewhere around there, maybe earlier. I mean, maybe when it came on TV in like the early 80s, maybe I watched it then, but maybe I was like 3 and I don't really remember it. Do you know what I mean? But it definitely would have been the 80s, in the like early to mid 80s for sure. Yes, that's how old I would have been. But yes, you're 42. I don't know if that's like, you're 42, you look so much older, or you're 42, you look so much younger. Hopefully it's the other one, or it's the younger one. The Shape sends in $4.99. Hope all is well, Dave. You should check out Bone Tomahawk, a terrifying Kurt Russell Western. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. I have to watch that. I have to watch that. Darren says, I prefer Hot Shots rather than Platoon. Hot Shots Part 2? I remember Hot Shots. That was a great spoof film. Oh, man, really thirsty. Went for a run this afternoon. I'm always really thirsty after runs for obvious reasons. Darren is winning. That's right. Charlie Sheen. June H sends in $2. Thank you, June. Is it June? Yeah, June. Says, did Halloween 1978 invent the saying speed kills? No, it did not. It was just using it. It's kind of a double meaning there, right? Like speed is a drug, right? Like it's a nickname. What nickname is it? It's a nickname for, I don't do drugs, kids. I don't know if it's speed is, it's not acid, right? It's something else, I think. But it's a play on that. And of course he's going fast down the street, right? So she's, hey jerk, speed kills. It's like it's a play on the saying, has like a double meaning there. No, it certainly didn't invent it. That's for sure. It probably was invented, somewhere in the 60s. That's my guess. Rickia Fleming sends in $4.99. Rickia, maybe? Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if you answered this on a previous episode, but do you think Halloween Kills will give a recap buffer to everything returning character? Is it needed? I don't think it's needed in Halloween Kills. You may get something at the beginning. You might. I could see that. I could see them tacking on like the moment when they light him on fire and they take, like maybe like the last minute of the first film, maybe. But you also don't need to. I mean, you could just have a black screen, open it up, see the inferno, and then just cut right to them in the back of the truck. You could do that as well. So I don't think they'll do that. If Halloween Ends takes place 3 or 4 years after Halloween Kills, depending on what the story is, I almost feel like there needs to be a buffer kind of in there. Like you to kind of show the separation a bit, depending. It's just because I know kind of how Kills ends. So I'm like, how do you, but I don't know the logistics and the variables of all the ideas they have. So if I was privy to that information, maybe I'd be like, oh yeah, no, they don't need to do that. But yeah, that's my thought on it anyway. Oh, there's my phone. My new phone. Sweet Tea sends in $5. Thank you, Sweet Tea. The tea is sweet tonight. For the channel, my friend, be safe. Thank you very much. And for those of you that are joining me here, all 170 of you, we were supposed to have a Two Dudes and Some Bullshit episode tonight, but Tony's internet was down, so we are rescheduling. Probably not next Monday because obviously that's Labor Day Monday. So we'll probably schedule for the 13th, which I think is the following Monday. Appreciate your patience. But I thought I would jump on anyway. I had a little bit of time, obviously. So I thought I would jump on and just hang out with you guys for a bit. I got a new phone, the Samsung Galaxy S21. Didn't come with a charging port. But Darren, after my rant, Darren astutely was like, well, you could just buy a new cord and plug it into your old charger. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I could have done that. I'm not done my rant yet! Colin Murdy says, amazing. Talking to Chester. That's great. Robert Thidoff says, Dave, will you be buying the new Shout Factory Halloween set? No. And it's because a very generous viewer of mine is actually doing that for me and sending it to me. Part of the perks, I guess, of people liking what you do. Although I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't like what I do. So I think it's Andrew Stevens, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Andrew Stevens? Andrew. I think it's Andrew. One of my patrons had offered to buy me the set when it comes out. So that's amazing. Like the generosity of some patrons and some viewers as well never ceases to amaze me. I mean, because Bruce and I are in the middle, like part of the reason why I've had to take some time off here is because there's a lot of things that I'm working on. Some things I hope I'll be able to reveal to you guys soon. But one of the things, of course, is getting the perks out there. We just we just sent off a big shipment the other day out, which is great. but we'll often talk about how, like, we can't believe that we raised $64,000 Canadian during a pandemic. You know, the viewership, it's because of you guys, you know, and so it never goes unappreciated. Like, anytime somebody sends me something in the mail, or like, it is greatly appreciated. And one of my patrons was like, dude, I want to get this for you. I just, you know, his way of saying thanks, or, you know, whatever. Right. And I was like, are you sure? Like, it's a couple $100. And he's like, no, I want to do this. I was like, oh, dude, that's fantastic. You know, so he's going to do that. So yeah, so I won't get it. If he wasn't sending it to me, would I have picked it up on my own? I don't know. Maybe. And that's not to say that I'm not happy that it's being sent to me. I'm just trying to think of, would it be, I might not have. Maybe I would have want to wait a bit, maybe wait till Halloween Ends comes out and then buy no doubt they're going to release a gigantic all movie box set, right? You know what I mean? So maybe not, but I certainly am not going to turn it away as a gift. I mean, that's an amazing thing, right? So really cool stuff. Nick sends in, oh no, let me go back. Oliver Mercer sends in a very generous super chat of 20 pounds. Thank you, Oliver. Hey, Dave, I have attached my Terminator fan film concept into the Portugal International Film Festival. Congratulations, man. Good luck. I've named it Future Survival. It will be an origin story set before and after T1 and T2 from 2025 to 2082. Oliver, congratulations. Good luck on it, buddy. I wish you the best of luck. Oliver, of course, you're a big support of the channel. So good luck, man. Keep us posted. And remember, even if nothing happens, the fact that you finished a script, the fact that you submitted it to a festival, you know, where this is going to, I think that's amazing, dude. Or was it the script, or was it fan film concept? Oh, maybe it's not a script. Maybe it's an actual video. Is it an actual video concept, or is it just the script? Maybe I read that wrong. My apologies. I thought it was a script, but nonetheless, that's awesome, dude. You're putting yourself out there. Hugom, not Hugom. Could be said a couple different ways. 9270. Thank you for the super chat. Random. But have you seen the Halloween 2 1981 Steelbook? Amazing cover. Yes, I have it. I have the Halloween 2 1981 Steelbook. Somebody sent that to me. Yep, I have it. It's not in this room. It's actually out in the other room. Out in my home theater. Patrick Anderson. Hey, Patrick Anderson, my man, says, have a great evening, Dave. Enjoy the new phone. Thank you very much. I assume this is the same Patrick Anderson that was supposed to be on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit tonight. Don't worry, Patrick. We're going to get him on, or get you on, I should say. The goal is September 13th. So shit happens, man. Shit happens. Tony's internet was down. So hopefully Tony's internet will be back soon. He said it had been down for quite some time, so. Nick sends in $5, says, Dave, sorry you got no charger. That's okay. It's all right. As Darren said, just go get another cord. But we're more sorrier we got no YouTube videos of you being arrested and ranting, demanding that charger in Loomis fashion. Oh, that would have been great. Oh yeah, I just think it's so chintzy, you know? And Darren, like I said, Darren does make a good point where it's like, yeah, but the charging port you can use for any phone if you buy the right cord or whatever the case is. And that is true. I didn't think of that. When I went in, I had the cord that came with the new phone, and the cord that came with the new phone didn't fit my old port. So of course, my first thought was not I should go get another cord. I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't it? Because every phone I've ever bought in my life comes with a new port, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes you got like 5 of them, you know, hanging around, and maybe that's what they're trying to, it's an environmental thing. They don't want to put new ports and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just like, nah, I don't buy it. I just don't. I don't buy it. Companies are about making money, not saving the environment. I hate to say it, but it's true. They'll tell you they want to save the environment because that's, you know, it's good optics and whatnot. But anyway, but yes, I could have got a new cord, which would have been a lot cheaper, but that's okay. I didn't really pay for it anyway because it went on my Best Buy card. Where are we here? Nate A sends in $2. Says, opinion on new Spider-Man trailer. The buzz is big. I'm trying to think if have I seen the new Spider-Man trailer. I think I've seen it. Yes, I did see it. I saw it because I was curious. It looks all right. It looks fun. I mean, I'm not emotionally attached to the character or the universe or the MCU or this interdimensional cross-universe, multiverse shit. Like, I just don't care. So I watched it once and I was like, yeah, it looks like that'd be a fun, entertaining film. But I'm not watching it through the same lens that some of you may be looking at it through. You know, it's like, oh my God, there's that fucking guy from Spider-Man 2. Holy shit. No, I just was like, that's fun. You know what I mean? So, But I sincerely mean this when I say this. It's really cool that a lot of people lost their shit over it, because there's certain things in my life that I lose my shit over that somebody else may not. They'd be like, Dave's fucking freaking out and I just don't understand why. Do you know what I mean? But so I live vicariously kind of through that. Like, I get it, because there's certain things in my life where I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like the Ghostbusters Afterlife, little bits and pieces that I know about Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm like, this gonna be fun. I'm more excited for that movie than I am the Spider-Man movie. Not that the Spider-Man movie doesn't look good. It looks great. But I can't wait to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. Andrew Stevens says, yeah, hey, there you are, buddy. There you are. Andrew Stevens, my man, sends in $5. Says, you got it right, Dave. They also mentioned lost footage has been found for H5 in time for the 4K release. Doubt it would be on there. Yeah, probably. No, maybe. You never know. But it's just another way to make money. That is so chintzy, isn't it, though? Like, if it's not on there and then they release it, like, God. But you know what, though? I'm not going to, like, I will tell you right now. When they release it, the Halloween 5, that extra Halloween 5 footage that hasn't been seen before, whether it is on the box set, if you will, that you're going to send me or not, if it's not on there, I'm not going to go out and buy, because you know that shit's going to wind up on YouTube. It's going to wind up on YouTube. I will not need to buy it. It's going to wind up on YouTube. 100%. So I won't need to buy it. Like, I don't care. And it's funny. I made a video about this in 2019 when they actually announced this, that they had discovered this in the archives. You know, people were like, what do you think? You're a fucking, Dr. Death and shit, and the hobo at the beginning, and the, Sheriff Meeker deaths. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, it's going to be cool to see it for sure. I always find that stuff cool from a filmmaking perspective. Do you know what I mean? Seeing deleted scenes that were never there, scenes that maybe should have been there. Who knows, right? I always find, like, the making of, behind the scenes, extra stuff. I always find that stuff really cool from a filmmaker and a filmmaking perspective. But no amount of extra stuff that they added back in, even on a special feature section on a Blu-ray or 4K, is going to make the movie better somehow. I mean, it's still dog shit. You know what I mean? I don't understand how even a Dr. Death, that sounds worse. I think his name was Dr. Death, right? Or something to that degree. Something like that. It sounds worse. It's like, thank God they got, and the opening that they have now with Halloween 5 is awful. I can't even imagine adding a Dr. Death or God, that's terrible. That's even worse. And we already know what he looks like because we've seen sort of the photos of them shooting it. I'm more curious to see the police station massacre and Sheriff Meeker's death. That's what I want to see. Just for the cool spectacle of it, really. I think that's what they have on there. Anyway. But yes, Andrew, my man, thank you so much. Again, really, really appreciate that. Very, very generous of you for sure. Let's see here. June H sends in $5. Thank you, June. Says, do you think Danielle Harris, oh, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. I was like, what is that? Oh, okay. Yes, for Halloween 6 helped her career and life in the long run. I don't know if I agree with you that she's, obviously I think it's water under the bridge at this point. I think they've let bygones be bygones. I think actually Malakakot, if I'm not mistaken, has apologized. Listen, it's show business, okay? It's business. And yeah, should she have been in that movie? Yes, she should have been. But I don't know if it would have made the movie any better. right? I think the plan was still to kill her. I don't think if Danielle Harris was in Halloween 6, she would have survived, at least not from what I know. I think the plan was still to kill the character of Jamie. So instead of it being JC Brandy, I think that's her name, something like that. Instead of it being her, it just would have been Danielle Harris. Sure, for continuity, that would have been great. But, you know, she still would have died in the first 15 minutes of the movie. So, you know, I mean, had Halloween 6 been all about her, do you know what I mean? And she had survived and she ran away to Haddonfield. And then instead of it being maybe Kara Strode and Tommy, it was, you know, Jamie Lloyd and Tommy. Do you know what I mean? So replace Kara Strode with Jamie Lloyd, or maybe it's a trio. It's Kara, Jamie, and Tommy. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe it's that kind of thing. Well, then maybe that would have been, I would have wanted to see that for sure. I would have totally been down to seeing that. But if Danielle was just going to come back to die anyway, then, you know, who cares really at the end of the day? Other than it just would have made sense for continuity. But I have no trouble believing, look, did the actress who played Jamie look like Danielle Harris? No, but I have no problem believing that's the same person. When I ask myself, do I believe this is the same character, that this could be that little girl, you know, 6-7 years later? Yeah, I believe it. You know what I mean? I have no trouble believing it. You know, it's not like it was, you know, the nurse that was killed when, you know, he smashed her head against the wall and that spike. Like, it's not like she looked like her, where it's like she's blonde, she's old. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't look anything like Jamie, right? Like, I totally I buy it. So it never really bothered me. You know what I mean? And Danielle, I don't get a sense that Danielle's really been doing that lately, you know? But, you know, I mean, she, look, I mean, her claim to fame, and this is not I'm not throwing shade at her or anything. This is just the reality of it. I think it's cool. She's been in a lot of movies, a lot of B horror movies, and she's been in the Hatchet series and all that kind of stuff. But she's most well known for Halloween 4, 5, and the 2 Rob Zombie films, right? And that's amazing. And what I like about her, though, and I give credit where credit is due, is she's owning that. She owns it. You know, she's owning that. And that's what Tony Moran should have done from the very beginning, was own his role, right? That's what she's doing. You know, was she a little, you know, kind of early on, maybe? Sure, but she kind of had every right to be, you know, to some degree. But, you know, it is what it is. It's show business. Guys, there's been, you know, I can tell you, look, I mean, obviously I've never been in a Hollywood film, but I work at the highest levels of voiceover in the world. And I can tell you that, you know, that's part of the show business industry. And I can tell you there's the same drama, the same not political, but, you know, the same shit exists in the world of voiceover too. You're not aware of it because voiceover is something that's kind of like a behind the scenes industry to a degree, right? You're, you know, out of sight, out of mind. So a lot of the wheelings and dealings of voiceover isn't really kind of out there like it is for on-camera actors and stuff. But it's the same shit that exists. There's things that happen that shouldn't happen, or things that shouldn't happen that happen, or there's contracts and things that fall through and promises that are made that aren't fulfilled. And oh yeah, I've been on the receiving end in my life of a few of those things. You know what I mean? It's you know, shit happens, right? Sometimes it happens, and it's part of, you learn to sort of roll with the punches and you know, just kind of do the best you can to kind of ride the waves and try not to take things too personally. That's where you can run into some. Now, if it is personal and you have objective evidence of it being personal, well, then you fucking take it personally and fucking, yeah. But more often than not, it's not personal, it's business, you know, and sometimes difficult decisions have to be made because of business, you know, but It is what it is. It is what it is. It's a good question, though. Jeff sends in $4.99, says, hey, Dave, have you seen the new Val Kilmer documentary? No, Val, no, but I would like to see it. Really great documentary. Highly recommended it. Highly recommend it. I think is what you meant. Sucks he's battling cancer. Oh, it's awful. It's awful. Heart goes out to Val. Val Kilmer, handsome young guy, good actor. He's struggling. He's struggling, but he's still here. The strength he has, and hopefully he'll be able to, he's never going to be normal, quote unquote, again, but hopefully he'll be able to live the rest of his life, stable, you know what I mean? And be able to do things, and hopefully he'll have a healthy, however much time he has left. I mean, I know that I haven't seen the documentary yet, but I think his cancer is in remission, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully it stays that way. But that is definitely, I have seen the trailer for it, and I definitely want to watch it. Looks like a cool film. All that behind the scenes stuff too, of all those like young actors on, it just looks cool. A lot of home movie stuff. Juan Rivera sends in $5. Something differ. Have you seen the docu-series on Showtime, UFO? Thoughts on it? Are we alone? A reptilian race in control? Love stuff like this. I do not believe a reptilian race is in control. But I do believe another life out there. Other intelligent life? Absolutely. I just think it's arrogant and unbelievably self-centered to think that we are the only intelligent life. I just think it's crazy. I have not seen the docuseries you're talking about, but I have seen the trailers, and I do want to watch it because I love watching anything. The problem with UFOs, I started watching the one on Netflix, and the problem with UFOs or watching documentaries on UFOs is that now lately, over the last couple of years, it's the UFO sort of, I want to say industry, but the UFO industry, for lack of a better word, is kind of interesting again because of the New York Times article from 2017 and those objects and, all that kind of stuff, right? And David Fravor of the U.S. Air Force and what he saw on the TikTok, like all that shit is like relatively new information of the last like 3 or 4 years, at least to the general public. So it's kind of interesting again, but for a long while there, it's just the same recycled shit, just repackaged. And I found that I was excited to watch the Netflix one, but when I started watching it, and I get it, like they're talking about Roswell and they go through the whole thing, but it's like, if you're into UFOs and if you've been really into UFOs like for years and you already know all this, like there's no new information there. You know everything there is to know about the Roswell incident, right? And so I found that I skipped ahead like 3 or 4 episodes, 5 episodes until I found something new. So that's a little frustrating, is that I find that they're repackaging the same information, to just make a series out of it, to make like 8 or 9 episodes out of it. Really, you could just do like 1, 2 or 3 hour episode. But I haven't seen the Showtime one. I want to see the Showtime one. Is the Showtime one different, or is it just kind of like repackaged? Do they do the same thing? Because I did like the trailer, and I'm really into UFO. Like when I say I'm into UFOs, what I mean is that I do believe that, here's my thoughts on it. I do believe that probably the vast majority of UFOs that we see are technology that is us, that we have leapfrogged. We now have technology that, and this is just my belief, right? Having a belief in something is not evidence of its existence. But based on all the info and all the shit that we watch, right? I do think most of it is probably us. It's probably, listen, years and years ago, people used to think the stealth bomber was a UFO before it was officially released. Do you know what I mean? And then it was used in the Gulf War, right? People used to see that thing flying around. I was like, what the fuck is that? It's like a triangle shit. Like, what the fuck? I think there's probably some of that. And then there's probably times where it's not, where it is some anomaly, it's something weird that we can't explain. But I don't necessarily believe that just because the US government says, we don't know what that was, it's not us, that it definitely, they don't know what it is and it wasn't us. I don't necessarily buy that. They used to say that about the stealth bomber as well. They used to say for decades that Area 51 didn't exist, like literally didn't exist. I don't know if you guys know that, but for years, everybody knew it existed. But the government, the US government, for years, up until what, like 89, 90 or whatever it was, wouldn't officially say that it existed. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. So, but yeah, so I do believe that that's how I kind of think about UFOs. But I do believe that, yeah, they're in the vastness of the universe, the trillions and trillions of stars, the billions and billions of galaxies, to think that there is not other intelligent life out there is crazy. Now, that doesn't mean that there's other humanoids out there. That doesn't mean that there's other humans, bipedal, walking, like we could fly to another planet and we land and it's like Star Trek and they show up and they're like, hello, well, and they speak English and, all that. I don't necessarily think that is what it would be like. But certainly some form of intelligent life probably exists. Like I think the film Arrival was a very cool way of depicting that. They weren't humans, but they were absolutely objectively intelligent, very self-aware of us and them and their existence and all that kind of stuff, right? I think that kind of life is probably out there. Are there other bipedal humanoid? Yeah, that could be out there too. I mean, who knows, right? The universe could be teeming with life, all sorts of kinds. I don't know. But I don't necessarily think of it the way Star Trek does. All of a sudden everybody speaks English for some reason. But it's really cool. It's a fascinating topic, man. The UFO topic, I guess I should have used instead of industry, although it is an industry for sure. A lot of people make a lot of money. Dennis Williams sends in $4.99 and says, hey, Dave, my second time joining your Q&A. Love your channel. Well, thank you, Dennis. Welcome. Did you see Candyman 2021? I have not yet. And what are your thoughts and what do you hope to see in H Kills? Well, I haven't seen Candyman yet. In H Kills, I just hope to have a good time. I know, like I've read the script, so I know sort of what to expect. I know from people who have seen the movie that it is a bloodbath, get ready. It's not necessarily the way I would approach a Halloween film, but I've, tempered my expectations, put them over here, and I have a feeling that I can go in and watch it for what it is and have a great time. Let there be carnage, right? You know what I mean? I think that's the saying for the Venom movie. But just let there be, let's just have fun. You know what I mean? Like I know what to expect now. I'm not, you know what I mean? Let's just have fun. And I have a feeling that I'm going to walk out of there really enjoying myself because I know that they're not going to do certain things that maybe I would do. But there's probably going to be some things that they do that I really like. Do you know what I mean? Basically what I'm saying is that I don't know if I would have turned Michael Myers into Jason Voorhees. But that's what they've essentially done. I mean, you can expect a lot of kills. So, and if you want that, then that should excite you, right? I don't know if that's a creative choice I would have done, but that's okay. That's not me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have done that, but I certainly can watch it for what it is and try to enjoy myself and just be like, woo, like a roller coaster. You know what I mean? So I have a feeling I'm going to like this. I have a feeling I'm going to walk out of the theater liking this movie more than I liked 18. Let's just say that. All right, we'll go for a few more minutes. Here. I just wanted to jump on and say hello to you guys and let you guys know that I am still here, but I've been taking a bit of a break because of some things that I'm working on. For those of you that have just joined us or are rolling in and out, there was supposed to be a Two Dudes episode tonight, but we had to reschedule because Tony's internet was down, but shit happens. Sometimes my internet goes down. So it's technology, folks. It's technology. You're never guaranteed. It's amazing how reliant we are on this stuff now, though, isn't it? It's amazing. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, what was the first year when you watched AMC Fear Fest before? What was the first year you... The first year I watched AMC Fear Fest, I don't know. I don't have cable anymore, so I don't watch it. Maybe you can get it online. I'm not sure. I don't know. I never really tuned into. I don't know. I really have no idea, Chester. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a good question, but I really have no idea. Really have no idea. Vampire's Coffin says, Dave, is Dr. Loomis with a machine gun, please, for Halloween Ends. Me as Dr. Loomis with a machine gun for Halloween Ends? That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Can you imagine Dr. Loomis with a machine gun? That would be absolutely amazing. That is funny. I should do more videos like that. I should totally do more videos like that. That would be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun. Sheen is still winning. He is. Doesn't Charlie Sheen have AIDS? I think he came out, he said he had AIDS, right? Or something like that. Fuck, man. That's what happened. Cody May says, Dave, you excited for hockey season? I'd be more excited if my Buffalo Sabres were actually, I don't know, good, or at the very least competitive. They suck. They haven't made the playoffs in over a decade. They're garbage. They're trash. And they shouldn't be trash because on paper they have a good team. Not like an incredibly I don't expect the Buffalo Sabres to be like first place or at the top of their division, but I expect them to be competitive. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at who they have and you're like, yeah, this team should be vying for a playoff spot every year. Do you know what I mean? Like, they should be right there in the hunt every year. And they're not. They suck. Dog shit. So, some of you might be thinking, but Dave, you're Canadian and you're from Toronto. Why don't you cheer for the Leafs? Well, I don't hate the Leafs like a lot of people do. I like the Leafs. And when the Sabres don't do well, I cheer for the Leafs. I mean, now the Leafs are a great team. They just fucking choke in the playoffs every year. But I mean, they actually do well during the season. But yeah, no, the Sabres have been my favorite team. The Buffalo Sabres have been my favorite team since I was like 4. For any hockey fans out there that know hockey, and I don't know if there are, but I've been a fan of the Buffalo Sabres since Tom Barrasso was their goalie. So that's going back like 36, 37 years ago. So that goes to show you how long I've been a Buffalo Sabres fan. They've never won the Stanley Cup. They've been in the Stanley Cup twice, but have never won it. But yeah, Sabres fan through and through. But I'd be more excited if there was if they were a good team. Apparently I missed a super chat. Oh yes, Heath Lawn. Heath Lawn. Oh no. We also got movie chat and more as well. I missed those two. Thank you very much, guys, for saying that. Appreciate that. Movie chat and more sends in £10. Thank you, movie chat and more, and says, I'm making a list of my 10 Halloween kill scenes for a future stream. So far, I have Bob Kelly, Hot Tub, School Bully, Rob Zombie 1, Fonzie from H5, The Nurse, H6, Slow-Mo Kill from H6, Garden Kill, H6. Sounds like a great start, Richard. Sounds like a great start. Keep adding to it. Oh, no, it's top 10, right? Well, sounds good to me. But you shouldn't have let people know about it. Of course, you didn't really let the order. Or let people know the order. You should. You don't let people know. You want to drive people to your channel. Heath Lawn sends in $2 and says, will you review Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy? Well, I don't do reviews on the channel. I'm not a movie reviewer. I'm more of a movie commentator, like a pundit, I guess, or just a commentary. You know what I mean? I just talk about whatever I want to talk about as it relates to movies and entertainment. So I won't be reviewing the movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I do want to see it because I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds, and the movie looked like it kind of looked fun. So I do want to see it. But I won't be reviewing it. I don't do movie reviews on the channel. I'm just not a reviewer. Dennis Williams. I got that one. That's the one I got. Right. So I skipped over those and I got that one. And then Robert Nickerson sends in $4.99. Thank you, Robert. Says, Dave, what do you think are your most rewatched movies of all time? Great question. Like a top 3 list of movies you've watched multiple times ranked by views. Ooh. Well, Halloween is up there for sure. The original. Halloween 2 would be up there for sure. The Indiana Jones movies, the originals, like, Raiders, Temple, for sure. The original Star Wars trilogy, absolutely. The Goonies, absolutely. Stand By Me, probably. Back to the Future films, like probably all movies I watched as a kid. Because like now as an adult, I don't really watch movies over and over and over again, right? But as a child, as a kid growing up through the 1980s, you know, I wasn't an only child, but like I have older siblings and I have a younger half sibling. But when I was born, my siblings, my older siblings were already 9 years old, 11 years old, and 15 years old. So they're close in age. They sort of grew up together, but I was, for all intents and purposes, an only child. Like I wasn't, but I kind of was. Do you know what I mean? Because by the time I was like 5 or 6, they're already in their teens and my sister was already like 20. So, you know, I got into movies and I was really into entertaining myself, playing with toys and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things, of course, we did in the 80s was rent movies. And my mother would rent me a lot of movies, whether it was like Goonies or Disney stuff or He-Man. You used to be able to rent He-Man episodes on fucking VHS tape. It's insane. And I would watch it over and over and over. My sister Jill and my mom, but my sister used to say to me, we never worried about spending money on renting movies, like worried that you wouldn't watch the movie or that you would only get one, because you would like watch it and then you'd rewind it as soon as it was done and then watch it again. And it wasn't that I was always watching it. Like sometimes I would watch it, right? And then I would rewind it and play it again, but it's just so it's on. And maybe I'm playing with my toys while the movie is on in the background. And then sometimes I'd have it, like I'd play it like 5 or 6 times over like a day or two. And then I'd want to like renew it. So we'd have to call, yeah, he wants to renew it, you know? So I was that kind of a kid. So as an adult, I don't do that, right? As an adult, I'm not like watching a movie and then rewinding it. There you go. Watching a movie, stopping it and, you know, playing it again. But certainly when I was a kid, the answer to your question would be those movies, because those were movies I watched when I was a kid. So that was at a time when they got the most rewatch, right? So yeah. Darren Sands sends in 10 pounds. You didn't have to do that, Darren. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that for the channel. The wink. Thank you, Darren. Really appreciate that. And by the way, and I'm not just saying this because Darren sent in 10 pounds. I know it totally looks like this now. It totally looks like this, but it does. It totally does. And there's no way to escape that it looks like this. But I sincerely mean this in the absolute, pure, innocent way. Check out the Slaughtered Lamb podcast. The Slaughtered Lamb podcast. Please do. Check out the Slaughtered Lamb podcast with Darren Sands and Frank Riker. I'm going to be on there, by the way, very soon in the next couple of weeks. I think sometime in September, I'm going to be on there. So they do great stuff. And I know it looks like he sent me 10 pounds. I was like, here you go, Dave. And it does. Like, there's no way to avoid it. There's just no way to avoid it. It looks like I was paid to say this, but that is not what happens. I've said it many times without anybody sending me anything. But it just reminded me because I saw his avatar and it says TSL. And I'm like, oh yeah, TSL, Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. I watch every episode you guys put out and it's a blast. It's a blast watching you guys and it's great seeing your channel grow. It's fun. I think you're closing in on 300 subs now or something like that, which is great. Let's see if we can get them over 1,000. My goal is to get the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast over 1,000 subs. I think we can do it. I mean, listen, there's 179 people watching right now. Folks, go over to the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, that link that Darren put right there. Subscribe to the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. It is hosted by my moderators, Darren Sands and Frank the Tank Riker. You will not be disappointed. If all 180 of you did that right now, you guys would gain 180 subs. I mean, it's that simple, folks. It's that simple. And I would not promote it. It's not because they're my moderators. It's not because I like these guys and I consider them friends. It's not that at all. If I thought they weren't doing a good job, I just wouldn't say anything. I just wouldn't say anything. I sincerely really like what they're doing over there. I like the chemistry, the camaraderie, the topics you guys choose like I will see a topic that you'll choose and I'll be like, fuck, why didn't I think of that? That's a great idea. You know what I mean? I'm like, shit. There's been like 10 topics where I'm like, fuck, well, I can't do it now, or I have to at least wait. I got to like wait a year. Do you know what I mean? So it's good shit. It's good shit. You guys are doing good shit over there. I sincerely mean it. It's good stuff. Darren says, we'd love to get to the big 300 during September. That'd be amazing. I'm telling you, if 100, look, I've lost 10 people right now because they feel like I'm pressuring them.
Don't pressure me. I'll subscribe when I want to. Don't tell me when to.
It's okay. I'm just saying. You guys won't be disappointed. It's a good fucking show they got going on over there. Jacob 26 film, and they're very film savvy dudes. So it's not like just two guys talking out of their ass. I'm just saying. Jacob 26 film guy sends in a very generous $20. Thank you, Jacob. You did not have to do that. Hey, Dave. I was an only child too, but well, keep in mind, I was not an only child. But because I was born later, it felt like I was an only child. I just want to make that distinction. Hey, Dave, I was an only child, born in 1991. Ever thought about doing a McRae Live talking Westerns or film noir? I would be down for that. And also, I have thought about getting into voice acting. Any tips? Well, the first part of your question, you're born in 1991, so I'd make you 30, I guess, this year. The big 30. And then the second part, Westerns. I'm not a big Western fan. You know, I feel I got to brush up on my Westerns. That's the problem. I never got into Westerns. I feel like Westerns, kind of like how I feel about like about Middle Earth shit, like Game of Thrones and that kind of stuff. Like I don't feel, I don't know. There's like a thing that I have to, but I loved Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. You know, and I know that's kind of a, you know, but I loved that movie. I thought that was a fucking brilliant film. I just got to brush up on Westerns more. And I love Tombstone. You know what I mean? Tombstone's a great movie. Do you know what I mean? So clearly there are films I could talk about. But yeah, and film noir. Yeah, there's a few movies that would be considered film noir that I like that I could talk about. That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I sound like Porky Pig there. And then any tips to getting into voice acting? Well, I will say this. I don't know who you are or where your level of talent is. And I say this as a hard reality. You can teach technique, but you can't teach talent. You either have it or you don't. Now, I don't say that to, you know, sway people not to pursue what they want to pursue. It's just a reality of the business because it is a performance. It's a performance art, right? In a lot of ways. So anytime that you have to be in front of the camera, in front of the microphone, performing and acting, that takes a certain skill set. And not everybody has that. You know, so you can teach technique and you can certainly get better and you can improve. But if you are not a born performer or a natural sort of talent and charisma or, you know, whatever the case is, don't expect miracles is what I'm saying. Now, I don't say that as to be a Debbie Downer. I just mean that I would say that to anybody and have said that to people. It's just a reality of show business in a lot of ways, right? You know, especially when we're talking about performing. You know, being center stage, and acting, voiceover is acting. So if you've never taken an acting class in your life, I recommend taking an acting class. Learn the art of acting, learn the art of performance, learn how to interpret a script, take direction, learn acting, because in voiceover, it's voice acting. Right? Very few people realize that it's not really about the voice you have. It's about how good of an actor are you, right? How good can you interpret, you know, how well can you take direction and hone in on those important elements of a script and really find, read that script, whatever it is, and whatever role you are playing. I mean, even if you're not doing animation, you're always playing some sort of fictional version of yourself, whether you are doing a movie trailer or you're playing the dad in a radio Coke commercial with your daughter. And Dad, you know, I like my Coke. And, you know, you're playing the dad, you know, whatever the case is, or maybe you're the announcer, or you're not, I'm not Dave McRae doing a voice acting thing, right? You know what I mean? So, a voice acting thing that sounded so ghetto. I mean, I'm never Dave McRae doing a voiceover. There's always some character I'm playing. Sometimes it's a real character, like a real, like fully fleshed out three-dimensional character like you would get in animation, right? And then sometimes it's more of a one-dimensional character like, you have in like a radio spot or, a television spot or something to that degree. So learn acting, take an acting workshop before you take a voiceover workshop. Take an improv class, learn to step out of your comfort zone, learn to think quickly, and to think on your feet. These are all valuable tools that you take into the voiceover side of the business. When I was getting into voiceover, I started out as an on-camera actor. Now, I didn't get very far because I broke my teeth playing street hockey, so I had to take a hiatus, and then I got into the voiceover side of things, and then I never looked back. But my goal was to be an on-camera actor, and during that 3 or 4 years there where I was doing that, I was in a couple of docudramas, a couple commercials, as I was making my way up, and as I was doing that, I was taking like acting classes and workshops, and I have an acting diploma actually on my wall up there, and I actually attended an acting convention in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel in 2003. It was a big acting convention, and I won 4 awards there. 2 first places actually. So that was when I was pursuing the acting and all that. And there were a couple of agents that were interested in me. And then when I came back to Canada, broke my teeth, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole long story, but certainly, and I know this is really long-winded, but the best advice I can give is just make sure you study acting, because voiceover is acting. It is voice acting. They call it voice acting for a reason. You know what I mean? And the better actor you are, the better voiceover actor you'll be. But again, you can teach technique, but you can't teach talent. So have realistic expectations. All right. Fast Forwards 289 sends in $9.99, says, "Hey Dave, hope you enjoyed your break. Welcome back. When movies are made, do they short scenes? When movies are made, do they shoot scenes? Maybe as you mean shoot scenes in order, or do they shoot what they want when put it together later? Just wondering." I think I know what you're saying. You're asking basically, when they shoot a movie, do they shoot in chronological order? It depends. Generally, no. But it all depends on the schedule and what makes the most sense logistically and via the budget, cost, and time on how you shoot. Steven Spielberg famously said that he deliberately chose to shoot E.T. in chronological order because he wanted the kids, namely Elliot and Gertie, that's Drew Barrymore's character, right? Wanted them to, because they were children and they were quite young, he wanted them to go through the emotional beats through the film, through the journey in chronological order, so that when it got time to the very end of E.T., when they were saying goodbye, there was really that weight. Like they were really crying. They were really upset, saying goodbye to this character that they had fallen in love with through the process of shooting the film in chronological order. Now, that was a creative choice that they made for that reason. And that was a smart one. If that's true, that is very smart. And he's said that. And I think that's brilliant. That's a brilliant idea. But generally speaking, it's yes and no, right? It all depends on a number of factors. But I would say generally, movies are not shot in chronological order. And there's a variety of reasons for that. And that's why, you have to really, as an actor and as a director as well, you really have to know what you want. And you really have to know how to direct your actors because, like, for example, we didn't shoot It's Me, Billy in order. There's a clip, there's a behind the scenes clip on my channel where myself and Bruce are talking to Victoria at the front door. And we make mention of, there's a moment, I forget what I say, but there's a moment where Bruce and I remind Victoria that the emotional state that her character is in at this moment is not the same emotional state she was just in before lunch, right? Before we broke for lunch, because we're not shooting in order. So she has to go back to where her character was before the last scene she shot, because the things we're shooting now come before that. Do you know what I mean? So you as an actor have to be able to remember that and turn on that dime and get into that emotional space. And as a director, you have to remember that as well and be very thorough on communicating that to your actor and reminding them of where you are. And that's why it's so important that you as a filmmaker, as a director, know what you want and know your film inside and out so you can make those jumps, because sometimes it can be tricky. Sometimes it can be hard. And if you don't get the right performance, if the ending of the movie requires an incredibly emotional performance from the actor, but you're shooting that first, the actor doesn't necessarily have that perspective of all the shit they've gone through because you haven't shot it yet. Do you know what I mean? So, it depends. Sometimes filmmakers, I think, may want to shoot certain things in order because of that emotional impact that they may want for the character and for the actor. And then sometimes they don't, right? But there's a number of factors of why a film might be able to shoot in order and may not. And maybe sometimes they shoot in order for a little bit and then they have to jump around. You know what I mean? So it depends. It depends on a number of factors. All right, I think I've got all the super chats. Oh, no, we got a few more. Movie Chat and More sends in £2. Thank you, Movie Chat and More. How come you're not a fan of daytime kills? Of daytime kills? You mean deaths that happen during the day? Who says I'm not a fan of deaths that happen during the day? Do you mean like in a particular film? I think you can have a great kill during the daytime, but I think it depends on the movie and the story that you're telling. Dennis Williams sends in $1.99, says, do you enjoy zombie movies? Do you have a favorite? I'm not a big zombie fan, but I do enjoy sort of the classics like Night of the Living Dead. I like the original Dawn of the Dead I really like. And I do like Zack Snyder's remake, actually, from 2004. I think Sarah Polley is in that. I like that film a lot too. And I like 28 Days Later. I think that had zombies in it, right? I think so. So yeah, I do. I mean, but I'm not a huge fan. Like, I'm not a zombie. I'm not like, I don't like, they're fun. They're fun. Yeah, they're fun. But I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan. Juan Rivera sends in $2 and says, thoughts on the Mandela effect, real or all mind games? I would say they're all mind games. I think the Mandela effect is just remembering incorrectly. It's just the way it is. You remember incorrectly. And I think there's psychological evidence for that. When you actually put the Mandela effect up to psychological scrutiny, in terms of being able to look at how human beings in other scenarios, how their memories are so poor. Do you know what I mean? And like eyewitness testimony and all that shit, and something you just saw like 5 minutes ago. I think we're just remembering differently. And sometimes like I could have sworn that was, but nope. No, I think it's just an interesting sort of fun little thing. I just think I think it's just proof a lot of people just have shit memories. I think that at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I think that's it. Oh, Dennis Williams says 28 Days Later did. Yes. Oh, yes. 28 Days Later. Oh, that's right. Yeah. 28 Days Later, because then the sequel is like 28 weeks later, I think. Something like that. All right. Did I get all of the super chats? I believe I did. I believe I did. I don't think I am leaving anybody hanging. I don't think I am leaving anybody hanging. I don't think, anyway. This is a good one. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, who was the first YouTuber you watched? And also, how you become a YouTuber. Love your YouTube channel, buddy. Keep up the good work. Well, Chester, I've never really considered myself a YouTuber. I actually don't like that word. I mean, I know that's technically what I am. Well, it's not. I think the reason why I don't like it is because it sounds like I'm a starving, like it sounds like I have no, and I say this with all due respect to the YouTubers that are out there, but I've always associated it with it like I have no job, or I have no, like, it sounds like, I don't know, there's just the word YouTuber. I don't know, it just sounds so silly to me. I don't know. I would much prefer like YouTube personality. I know it's like I'm splitting hairs here, but there's just something about, I mean, I know technically that's part of what I do. I mean, technically I have a channel, I have a show here. I guess I'm a YouTuber, but I don't consider myself that because I do, like, I work in the entertainment industry, and that's, I think what it is that if my YouTube channel was my full-time job and it was my main focus and it's what I thought about day in and day out and what I attended to day in and day out, then yeah, I probably would see myself as that. But when I'm not here live on the channel, I'm not even thinking about it. You know, generally speaking, right? I'm busy working on films. I'm busy doing voiceover and all that kind of shit. So it's kind of, I guess it kind of feels weird when somebody calls me that, although I do understand what they mean. I totally get it. Yeah, YouTuber. Sounds like I'm starving. Like, coming home to your parents when you're 18 saying you're an actor or something. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, really? Oh, really? You know what I mean? It kind of has that connotation to it. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But anyway, how did I become a YouTuber? I don't think I think you just start. I think you just sign up for a channel and put yourself out there because you have something to say. The best advice I can give, though, is be yourself. Don't be me. Don't be anybody else. Be you and have something to say. Because if you don't have something to say, then, you know, why are people watching you, right? The first YouTuber I watched? I don't know, because when I first started watching YouTube in 2005, there were no YouTubers. I mean, it was cute cat videos and, you know, people falling on their ass. And I mean, that's what it was. Trying to think. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Oh, you know who I think it was? He died, actually. He died like, oh God, like over 10 years ago now. There was a YouTuber very early on. His name, and you can still find him on YouTube, but he's dead. He died. I think he died of a heart attack or something. He was a bigger guy. And he went by the Boring Dispatcher. And he was this heavy-set fellow who would go on YouTube, I guess from his work, like where I don't know, he was a truck driver, dispatch kind of guy or whatever. But nobody was called a YouTuber then, you know what I mean? But technically that's what he was, I guess. And he would just talk to you, and he kind of sounded like this. And I guess that's why he thought of himself as the Boring Dispatcher. And I would watch him because I just thought he was funny. It just was like, who is this guy? Like, what's he doing? You know? So I guess technically, but that would have been like 2006, 2007. I think he died in 2008, I think. So I guess that was probably the first, like somebody talking to the camera that wasn't a cat video or something that I watched, that was actually like had something to say or something, I guess. So yeah, I think it would have been him, but he died. But you could, like, if you YouTube the Boring Dispatcher, he'll come up. I don't think his channel is there anymore, but you'll see like a couple of like tribute videos to him or something. It's kind of cool. Movie Chat and More sends in £2 and says, how come you're not a fan of daytime kills? I thought, I answered that already. I didn't know what you meant by daytime kills. David Coe sends in $4.99, says, any chance we get a fuck it, let's do it live? Fuck it, let's do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. We're doing it live. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Fuck! Just fucking roll it. And that's going to do it today. I don't know what this is. What do I can't read it. What does that even mean? I can't read it. And that's going to do it. Oh, that's got to be one of the best videos, man. Oh, here we go. Movie Chat and More, £2 sends, I've been accused of being a poor man's McRae. A poor man's McRae? What does that even mean? I mean, I know what it means, but like, what does it even mean? Poor man's McRae. That's hilarious. Yeah, people just got to do what they do. You know what I mean? Just be yourself. Don't copy me. Don't copy anybody else. Listen, I jumped on here in 2017 full-time in the sense of like on the regular. And because I had something I had to say. I needed to get how I felt about Halloween off my chest. And I'm me. I don't try to be anybody else. Nobody else, as far as I know, tries to be me. And then that way you get a different, a bunch of different people to choose from. So, that's so funny. That's great. All right, folks, listen, that is going to do it for me here on this, whatever this was, a live Q&A just to say, hi, I'm still here. There probably won't be any shows this week. I just want to be honest with you, okay? But I'm looking to come back after Labor Day. I think, once after Labor Day is over, that's kind of like the unofficial end to summer, fall's really beginning. That's kind of when I'm planning to sort of start coming back. I've had to sort of rework the schedule a bit. I'm trying to do some dancing around and try to figure out what the best thing is to do in terms of shows and the channel and that kind of stuff. And I'm working on some exciting stuff, which hopefully I'll be able to share with you guys and gals and whatever you are, whoever you are, however you identify. You are all welcome, of course. I look forward to sharing that with you peeps very soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So we'll see how that goes. But hopefully I'll have some exciting news soon. There's some exciting stuff that I'm working on. But thank you to my great moderators, Darren Sands, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Chris Baber, for doing what you people do. I really appreciate it. It goes a long way. And do not forget to subscribe to the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. Come on. They're good shit. I'm not just saying this. I say, like, you guys know me. I have a blast watching them. Frank is fun. You think Frank and Darren are fucking funny in the chat? You got to check out their podcast. I'm just saying. And I'm going to be on there soon too anyway. It's not nearly as good. It's not nearly as good though when I'm on there. I'm just being honest. All right, folks. And thank you to all the super chat questions that came in today. My apologies. I was unable to get to the non-super chat questions. There was just a lot of super chat questions that came in. But I do appreciate that. Thank you for all the super chat questions that came in. And you guys are awesome. Sorry there was no two dudes and some bullshit tonight, but obviously we had some technical issues on Tony's end. Hopefully we'll be back September the 13th. You guys are awesome. You know you are. Take care of yourselves out there, and I will talk to you guys soon.